This is the former Biden EPA museum. It was $4 million to build. We are standing in the middle of basically a one-bedroom apartment, and $600,000 a year to operate. Money can be better spent elsewhere.
Last month, we told you about EPA Chief Lee Zeldin shutting the Biden-era EPA museum for wasting millions of your taxpayer dollars. That was an outrageous story. And it only had just a few visitors.
Yeah, and that's just the beginning. Zeldin's office says it's already cut $22 billion in wasteful grants and contracts. In case you didn't know this, that's actually double the agency's operating budget.
We have EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin to join us now and talk about this. Thank you for joining us, and tell us about these cuts you found.
It's important for EPA to be operating as efficiently as possible, and we're not going to operate under this mentality that challenging the status quo is unacceptable. It's some sacred cow. We inherited all of these Biden-era regulations. We aren't going to treat those as if they're etched in stone. And as we see tens of billions of dollars going out through self-dealing and conflicts of interest, unqualified recipients, and reduced agency oversight, we're going to take action. We will have a zero-tolerance policy for any waste and abuse. So these are the principles that we bring in. And the Trump mandate at the Trump EPA is making sure that we're operating as efficiently as possible and we're powering the great American comeback. That means clean air, land, and water for all Americans. That gets to our core mission. Unleashing energy dominance, pursuing advancing cooperative federalism, pursuing permitting reform, making America the AI capital of the world, bringing back American auto jobs. We choose both protecting the environment and growing the economy at the Trump EPA.
You know what? Two parts of this comment. Kevin Cork here with you, Administrator. First of all, I know you're a cabinet member now, but I still miss seeing you on Gutfeld. Just going to throw that out there. We think you should get back on the show. Always very entertaining. I want to ask you about returning to Reagan-era staffing levels. I live in Washington. A lot of people there, a lot of consternation about staffing cuts, but you feel like you can efficiently do the job with less.
Yeah, so we come in and we inherit these massive backlogs, hundreds of state implementation plans that have to be reviewed, hundreds of new chemicals, over 12,000 pesticides that are under review. And when I sit down with these offices and I ask them, what do you need in order to be able to get rid of these backlogs, they have ideas for other employees in the agencies that are working on other things that if they were helping them, we can reduce all these backlogs. So what was so important to us is making sure that we are fulfilling all of our statutory obligations, and that we were getting rid of these backlogs that we inherited. So we believe that we should have not one more or one less employee than what is necessary to fulfill these statutory obligations and power the great American comeback. Every employee costs, on average, about $200,000 to the American taxpayer. We owe it to the American taxpayer to operate as efficiently as possible. And reducing the size of government isn't about going backwards. It's about making sure that we're modernizing the workforce and operating as efficiently as possible for the taxpayer.
You know, one of the things that's been really interesting about this administration is the way secretaries or departments have been overlapping with other departments, working together. Talk to me about how the EPA is working with MAHA and HHS.
So chaired by Secretary Kennedy, the Make America Healthy Again Commission brings together different agencies with overlapping jurisdiction, as you point out, Rachel. And I just did an event with Secretary Kennedy in Salt Lake City, Utah. Secretary Kennedy was advocating passionately for EPA to be considering new science as it relates to fluoride in drinking water. I sat and met with him. I heard his argument. It was very compelling. So that's what we're going to do. The last time the EPA looked at the science was July of 2024. But after that, The National Toxicology Program released a report in August, and there's other studies to look at too. This is Secretary Kennedy fulfilling what in many respects was President Trump's campaign promise to bring these agencies together. We also see it with the National Energy Dominance Council.
Right.
I'm often sitting down at meetings inside the Oval Office, and it's not just me. I'll be there with Secretary Duffy and Lutnick and Burgum and Wright and others talking to the president about where we all are working together to make sure that we're not siloed off. We are getting his agenda over the finish line fast.
I love it.
Administrator Zeldin, thank you for joining us. As a conservationist, I appreciate this point of view. I hope that you're working with some of those organizations. We do want to protect the world God created for us. We just don't need to do it to our own detriment. And I appreciate your point of view and the perspective you're bringing.
Thanks, you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.